Okay, I'll get started then. Welcome everyone to our program today from the Egg Harbor Library. And we're going to be talking about convalescent plasma for COVID-19. And I have here with me Jess from the Crest Pavilion and Morgan from Door County Library. And I have Christine Bellinger. Did I get that right? And she's from the Community Blood Center in Appleton. And that is where I've been donating my plasma. And she'll talk to you a little bit about it after I get done talking. But welcome, everyone. It's a beautiful day, and we'll get started so you can get back outside. So I'm going to share my screen and present using a PowerPoint. And so let's see there. Okay. Desktop. It's always, let me know if you see it. Do you see my desktop?
I see the screen, the slideshow.
All right. Okay. So many people realize that I had COVID-19, and I made this little infographic because so many people didn't know anyone who had COVID-19, and they wanted to know my experience and how I got it and what it was like. So I did an infographic explaining my situation, and I'm just gonna move this over here for a second. Oops, sorry, I went too soon. Hold on. I'm clicking away too fast. There, sorry about that. When I talked to the health department, they figured I got mine on a plane coming home from Mexico on March 20th. And those first few days of being home, I had lots of energy. I was doing lots, reading, walking, hiking, but I was self-quarantined because I knew that I had been out of the country and I was told that's what I should do. So I knew I had that 2 weeks. So then, oh God, a couple days later, I started feeling like I had allergies. So I'm online thinking, well, what kind of allergy do I have? Because I have all the symptoms of an allergy, sore throat, sneezing, coughing, not heavy coughing, just mostly sneezing. So finally, I was walking with a friend in the neighborhood, and she said, "Oh, you're just worried," and I said, it just seems to be hanging on. And then I thought, maybe I should dust my house because I must have a dust allergy. So I dusted my house, and I still had the mop out for 2 weeks after because that's when I really got sick. And I called my doctor, and she says, oh, you probably have a sinus infection. And then I called the hotline, and the hotline said, oh, you've been out of the country. You should come. And I had a slight fever. But then all of the symptoms hit after I was tested. And after I got the results, I was positive, but it was 5 days, and the worst 5 days is when I didn't know that I had COVID-19. And my fever went up to about 102 at the highest, 101 mostly. And then by April 11th, I was symptom-free, and that's when I could start counting my days to give convalescent plasma, which we're going to be talking about today. So this is me at the blood center, and here's a little information of what is convalescent plasma. Blood plasma is from people who have recovered from COVID-19, and this plasma may help others fight the disease. This is a very, very old medical procedure. It was used during the Spanish flu in 1918. It's been used for other people for treatments. And we're going to talk about why it's so powerful. We think that it's doing the job of helping the COVID patients. They're not 100% sure, but they think there's strong evidence that it is battling it. So convalescent plasma is the term used for plasma that's removed from the blood of a person who has recovered from a disease and then transfused into a patient still battling it. So I have to show you this plasma here. This plasma is Tom Hanks plasma. So it's funny, you look online and all the stars who have given their plasma have pictures of their plasma. And I have my plasma picture too. So this is Tom Hanks, and this is what he's the person he explained it first. And they interviewed him on a show, and I said, oh, that's interesting. And so I've kind of followed his journey. He's given a couple of times at UCLA. So what is plasma? It looks yellow and doesn't look like blood at all. Plasma is the liquid part of your blood. It's light yellow, and it's made up of about 91 to 90% water. That's why before I give convalescent plasma, they said, drink lots of water. It accounts for around 55% of your blood, with the other 45% being red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So that's what plasma is. And when you, antibodies, they think that if you have had it, you probably have the antibodies. I know I have the antibodies, but will I get it again? People aren't 100% sure, but they really think you probably won't get it. So what are antibodies? When your body is exposed to a foreign pathogen, your body's response is to produce antibodies. They call them little soldiers, people have different names for them, which are proteins that can bind to a virus and help to deactivate it. It'll clear it from the circulation and prevent it from invading the body's cells. Your internal army working to vanquish foreign invaders are contained in the plasma. So antibodies are in the plasma. Once you've recovered or convalesced, and that's how you get the term convalescent plasma, from a given virus, these antibodies stick around in your plasma for a certain amount of time. They're not sure of how long yet because everything is so new. So here I am with my plasma picture. And your soldiers can sometimes fight for other people. And that's where we get the plasma donation. Doctors can extract convalescent plasma from a recovered patient and then transfuse it into a patient who is fighting the disease you recovered from. This means your antibodies may help that person's own immune system in its war against the disease by accelerating the time it takes to develop their own army of antibodies. Now, I'm just going to show you a quick little film. 60 Minutes did a whole thing on, 60 Minutes did a whole thing on convalescent plasma last Sunday. I don't know if anyone got to see that. And this is just a small clip from it. It's 60 minutes overtime. So I'm gonna play this for you. It will explain this whole procedure again. So by now, my explanation and this explanation, I think you'll get it. So I'm gonna get that full screen here.
This week on 60 Minutes, we report on an experimental therapy to treat COVID-19 patients. It's called convalescent plasma therapy. Most people with COVID-19 produce antibodies that help fight the disease. The antibodies from donors who have recovered from COVID-19 are collected in plasma, the liquid part of blood, and given to patients who are still fighting to survive.
When a person gets sick from a virus, there are a couple of defenses that the immune system has. There's the immediate defense, and then there's a vacuum until the adaptive immune system can make very specific soldiers against the virus. It was during that window that instead of waiting for that patient's immune system to have kicked in, we can go ahead and give them antibodies from somebody who has already made them, was already recovered.
All right. Mwah. All right, you're gonna do good, okay? All right, you hang in there, okay?
Medical oncologist Michelle Donato is the principal investigator of the therapeutic study at Hackensack University Medical Center in New Jersey. She told us potential donors must have previously tested positive for COVID-19 and been symptom-free for at least 2 weeks.
We know they had COVID, and a much higher chance that we will find antibodies in those patients.
Who makes the perfect donor?
So we want donors who have a high level of antibodies and antibodies targeting the specific virus.
Is it as simple as someone who was really sick and recovered would have a higher concentration of these antibodies that you're looking for?
I have not seen that yet with the donors that we have screened. Right at this juncture, I can't tell you that the sicker you were, the more antibodies you have.
How many donors are you looking for?
For now, I would say as many as we can find. What's interesting about plasma, it's the reverse of blood. You know how blood type O is the universal blood donor. But for plasma, it's really AB. So AB is the universal plasma donor.
As part of a national study with different qualifications and criteria, 60 Minutes senior producer Matt Polavoy has donated his own plasma. Matt became sick with COVID-19 in March.
I was one of the first patients at my local community hospital, Brooklyn Methodist, to be admitted with laboratory confirmed COVID-19. The experience of being sick with COVID and being in the hospital was a real range of emotions. It almost felt a bit like a roller coaster. At first, the hospital was eerily quiet, but as the week went on, things got progressively scarier in the hospital. And they were telling me that the hospital was quickly filling up with other COVID patients, both suspected and confirmed. And the level of coughing that I heard was pretty terrifying.
After 10 days in the hospital, Matt recovered. He later took an antibody test and learned he was eligible to donate his plasma.
What I was surprised to experience was that it was actually a fairly easy experience, with one exception being the size of the needle that they need to put into your vein, because the needle is both delivering saline to keep you hydrated, as well as taking and removing blood, which contains the plasma. It's pretty seamless. So the plasma process, it's constantly transporting your blood into a machine, and it's spinning your blood and separating the plasma out of it, and then actually returning your blood back to the vein. So you're really only giving a very small amount of volume that's taken out of your body. As long as you can sit still for 45 minutes to an hour, which as a constant fidgeter, that's not exactly the easiest thing for me. But it's a really painless process. I've now donated plasma at the New York Blood Center 4 times. I have my 5th appointment scheduled for next week. Donating plasma is life-affirming. It feels amazing.
There's not only a need for plasma, hospitals around the country also need blood.
Okay, I'm going to stop that and go back to my presentation. All right. So here I am at the Community Blood Center, and I'm just gonna move that for a second. Okay, so here I am, and I'm just gonna click this as a video. It's over an hour you sit there getting prepped and ready, so I didn't want to show you an hour. I showed you the first like 30 seconds and the last 30 seconds. So what they're doing is they're taking and prepping me now to get the blood out and to take it out and put it back in again with the big needle, which I never look at when they're doing. And then it goes to the centrifuge, which you can see under that monitor. And as it's going in, being drawn out, you could see it being drawn out on the monitor, and then you can see that it's going back in from the monitor. So you can kind of watch the whole thing. And then this is the end. So everything is over. They've got the, I was able to produce 4 bags of plasma. It depends on your weight, how much plasma you're able to give. And so I was able to give 4 bags of plasma, which 1 bag is given to 1 person to build the antibodies. So I can really help 4 people with that. So yeah, I'm just going to now turn it over to Christine, who is at the Community Blood Center, which is in Appleton. And she can tell you a little bit about the convalescent plasma project that is being hosted at the Community Blood Center. And I hear a little, is everyone hearing okay? Yeah, okay. So Christine, could you tell us a little bit about the convalescent plasma project at the Community Blood Center?
Oh, absolutely. And thanks again for having us here. First of all, I want to just say how happy I am to hear that you've recovered and you're doing well, and you know, you're educating people about how important convalescent plasma is. And thank you also for your donation. It's very important and is, as you had mentioned, really showing some promising results for people who are seriously ill from COVID-19. So the convalescent plasma, you did a fantastic job. I wish I'd had that video a long time ago explaining what it is. But it is exactly what you had described, is that it is believed that if someone has recovered from COVID-19, that they have developed antibodies, and that those antibodies then can be transfused to a patient who is in the hospital and seriously ill with COVID-19. And those are the patients, at least locally, that have been receiving these transfusions. You know, a lot of people think, well, I'm donating plasma, and what does that mean, and how is that different from plasma centers? You know, really the difference in the convalescent plasma that we are working with patients or donors such as yourself to collect is that product then can be transfused to a patient in a hospital. The regulations, all of this is regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, and the regulations indicate that only a volunteer blood donor can provide a product that is directly transfused to a patient, and that's what we're doing here. The requirements are basically that a donor needs to have had a positive medical test, a diagnostic test, that they were positive for COVID-19. Just recently, we implemented an antibody test. So if someone didn't have the positive test but had all the symptoms and were instructed by their healthcare provider that they might have had it, once they're recovered, we can test for the antibody now. And then they need to meet all the regular blood donor qualifications, because again, it's being transfused into a sick patient.
Okay, wow. And how many have you had in Appleton? Have you had a lot of people coming through? And the first time I came, I was the 4th person. And the second time I came, a lot more people had come to donate.
Yeah, we've had probably about 20 people or so who have signed up to donate. Right now, because this is being done under this protocol, donors can donate every once a week for 4 weeks, and then they need to wait for 4 weeks, and then they can donate again. But we've had hundreds of people fill out the form on the website, particularly once we had the capability for doing the antibody test. because if you can remember back to March and early April, getting the diagnostic test for the coronavirus was a little bit of a challenge because it wasn't as accessible as it is now. So a lot of people, if they had the symptoms, were being treated for a suspected coronavirus case. So we found a lot of people, hundreds of people actually, who have fallen into that category, and we are working with them so that we can get them tested for the antibody. We are really focused in on trying to find convalescent plasma. You know, I don't think anybody really knows what the disease progression over the course of time is going to be. So as that physician said in the video, our focus right now is really to identify as many people as we can.
And the reason I went to Appleton is Door County Medical is connected with the Community Blood Center. So if you look at their website, it tells you what hospitals their blood, their plasma goes to. So when the hotline called me and said, would you be interested, they directed me to the Community Blood Center, so which is in Appleton, kind of a long way from Egg Harbor. But,
well, and what is the difference between the Community Blood Center and the Red Cross?
So great question, and I'm really happy to explain a little bit about that. The Community Blood Center was founded in 1955 by doctors in the Fox Valley, Kaukauna and St. Elizabeth's Hospital, actually, and we just celebrated our 65th anniversary at the end of May, actually. We support a little over 20 hospitals in Northeast Wisconsin, the Northwoods, and the UP of Michigan. So, you know, our name is Community Blood Center, and that's really what we're really focused in on. We are committed first and foremost to the community. We have a local board of directors, and we're focused on ensuring that our community neighbors, friends, family members, hospitals, patients have the blood that they need. I'm asked this question all the time. You know, both organizations collect blood. I would say we're experts in it. This is all we do, and we're very good at it. And again, we're locally run and really committed to the local community.
And a plasma donation is a lot different than a blood donation. It takes longer. It looks the same, but it's taken, your blood's taken out and then returned after the plasma is separated. So, and the Red Cross can't do that. I asked. So, yeah. Well, anyone else have any questions? I think.
Well, Jeanine, I actually have a question for you. So what do you feel like after you do the plasma donation? Like, do you feel tired or?
So I read after I donated twice, it takes about 2 days before you feel completely the same, but I've not felt ever any different. You need to
That's great.
You need to drink a lot of water. So you need to drink water, like I would drink water all the way down, and then I drink water all the way home. And I think people who stay very hydrated don't feel, because you lose part of, you know, those 4 bags of plasma. So it must mean something. Christine,
right.
Do you have any comments on that?
Well, a lot of times people, after they donate blood, and even just a regular blood donation, we often tell people to take it easy for the rest of the day. The reason for that is mostly for the loss of red blood cells. Red blood cells are the part of your blood that transports oxygen throughout your body and to your organs. So sometimes people feel a little fatigued after a blood donation, primarily because of the red cells. As the video showed, the red cell, when you do a plasma donation, the red cells are returned back to the donor. And in addition, the fluid is replaced. So there's saline that will be returned to the donor. So most people can tolerate the plasma donation quite well.
Okay,
Okay.
good to know.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for being here and hearing my story. And I appreciate everyone taking the time on this beautiful day. And Christine, thank you for coming and joining us. And I'm sure many people will be seeing this, this video. So take care, everyone.
Yeah, Morgan, do you want to share some upcoming events that we have?
Let me see here. Summer reading program is going to be starting. So we're asking everyone to come to our summer page on the library. So that's doorcountylibrary.org/summer. And then visit our Facebook page. We have a summer group that is now open, and it's an open group, so you don't have to answer any questions. Anyone can join. You don't have to have a library card. And we are going to start programming on the 15th. You're going to see some teasers starting to pop up. We have lots of fun things going on. One of the things is we're going to be having an app that's called Beanstack that you can download and track your reading progress and your activities. And you will be put in for raffle tickets to win Door County Visitor Center gift certificates, as well as books. And it's open to kids, teens, and adults. And we're gonna have lots of fun things going on. We have some performers, we have Mad Libs, we have songs, we have stories. So we hope you can join us for the summer reading program.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Morgan.
Okay, well, everyone, have a good afternoon and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Jeanine.
Take care.
Bye-bye.